To talk about an important topic, that is competitive inhibition. This is an enzyme HMG-CoA reductase. When HMG-CoA binds to the active site of this enzyme, it leads to the formation of cholesterol. You all might have heard about a group of drugs called statins. These are how does statins act? Statins are nothing but competitive inhibitors of HMG-CoA reductase. So this binds to the same site as that of the substrate, and when it binds it leads to this formation of cholesterol is inhibited. So statins, they are competitive inhibitors and they are structurally analogous to the normal substrate of the enzyme, and they binds to the same site. One more important thing is this kind of inhibition is reversible. For example, when the blood cholesterol level increases, a particular dose of statin becomes ineffective. That means when the substrate concentration increases, the inhibition is reversed. That means inhibition depends upon the concentration of inhibitor and the substrate and is reversible. So this is a graph uh, where the x-axis represents the substrate concentration and the y-axis represents the velocity of the reaction. Here we and the red curve represents the competitive inhibitor. Here we can see that the maximum velocity remains the same even in the presence of the competitive inhibitor. But if you look at the substrate concentration at half Vmax, that which is called Km, what happens to Km? It increases. That is, the substrate concentration at half Vmax increases. So that is an important concept. That is, Vmax remains a constant and the Km increases. Another popular example is morphine and naloxone. You all might have heard about opioid poisoning. What is the drug of choice in opioid poisoning? It is nothing but naloxone. Naloxone, the mechanism of action is it is a competitive antagonist of opioid receptors. It binds to the opioid receptors and inhibits the action of morphine. Earlier we saw the inhibition of enzyme. This is an inhibition of a receptor. This is a drug response curve, whereas in x-axis we have drug concentration and in y-axis we have the maximum response. This blue curve represents the competitive antagonist. Here we can see that the maximum response remains the same even in the presence of a competitive antagonist. But in order to get that response, we have to increase the concentration of the agonist. That means there's a rightward shift of the drug response curve. The maximum response remains the same. So in summary, they are structural analogs. We have seen how statins and HMG-CoA resembles, and they binds to the same site of the enzyme, and it is reversible by increasing the concentration of the substrate, and there's a rightward shift of the drug response curve. And what happens to Vmax? It remains same and Km increases. Thank you.